Haha. Hi. Look, alright, it's like a slightly better opening than I do for most of my streams, right? I mean, a little melancholy, a little bit sad. But you know, that's kind of the start to the stream. A little bit sad. Look at that. I died. It's actually a screenshot. I'm gonna pull back the veil a bit. Oh, hello. Hello. I do have the game open, but not on that screen. But But let's just talk about this for a bit. Let's just unwind. What happened, dude? What fucking happened here? Let me scooch this in a slightly more normal position. We can pretend like I'm playing the game. Look at that. I'm like a real professional gamer. I don't actually play games. I just get other people to do it for me and then talk over it. Can you believe that people actually think other people actually do that? Crazy. Crazy world out there. Alright. So yeah, look. It actually didn't die that long ago. That's the most upsetting part. If I had started stream at like 4 p.m. today instead of... I mean, I'm already starting late anyways. It's almost 9 p.m. But if I had started like a few hours earlier than I normally start, we could have actually seen this run. Because it was still doing completely fine. So when I woke up this morning, like I was immediately nervous that when I turn on my monitors again, the character's gonna be dead. And that probably, definitely would have been the case, if not for the fact that my computer fell asleep. Because apparently, even when you're in full screen, Windows doesn't consider it a process that's important enough to stay awake for. So, yeah, I don't know, I guess, I think I have my computer set to go to sleep like 2 hours after being idle. So I guess it only played for like 2 hours after I went to bed. Which is a good thing, because immediately when I woke up, I was like, oh shit, this character's gonna die. Like, if I don't do something, this character's gonna die very quickly here. So I did do something. I, like, very slowly integrated, and yeah, you can't see it. The, death screen entirely covers up the board. But I very slowly integrated more and more villages. And the reason I had to do it slowly is because, like, regular villages are just awful. Like, the Count's Land, it's not just a flat increase. Like, I'm sure if I look at the encyclopedia, it tells you the exact numbers, but no, Count's Lands get, like, a serious benefit to the scaling of how much health they regenerate per loop. So I was doing that, and it took a while. It took, like, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 loops until I had all the Count's Lands that I wanted. And then the run was so fine. Like, it was fine. Like, there was no danger for hours. Like, I woke up at, like, 11 a.m. today, and things were literally totally cool until, like, 4:30 to 5 p.m. Like, I literally faced no adversity during the run at all. Like, everything was just smooth sailing. I was basically at max HP for the entirety. Until I hit loop 288. Like, I'm not sure if that's actually something, like, worth noting. Like, maybe, maybe, like, what's the opposite of a soft cap? Maybe there's, like, a soft ramp that happens at 288 or somewhere around there. Because, like, I literally, like, I don't know, I would get hit every now and then, but it would do, like, for the longest time, it was in, like, the 5,000 to 10,000 range, which was fine. Like, I could take hits that were, like, 5,000 to 10,000. But then when I got to 288, things were hitting me for, like, 20,000 to 30,000. And that's like, I know it's only 2 to 3 times as much as 10, but when you're doing that in every single fight, that gets pretty bad. I think that the run probably, like, I don't know, it's hard to say if it was just random, unfortunate luck, or if that, like, it was really, like, destined to die at, like, 288 or around there. The reason I think it's not just random luck is because, like, I have to stress that there were no problems. Like, I was feeling so confident at, like, 4:30 that I was like, I could leave this for a few hours and go make food and be back and have the run be completely fine. And then literally, like, 5 to 10 minutes later, I just died. And I saw it happen. Like, literally at the turn of loop 288, like, the first combat I encountered in 288 took me to, like, half HP. Which was, you know, about... Well, I don't know. I was going to say half as much, but that's the opposite of what I'm trying to say. It was about, like, 10 times as much HP as I had been losing prior to that point. So I was like, oh, geez, I must have gotten real unlucky there. And maybe I did just get unlucky. Maybe it was just a huge series of unfortunate events. But then, like, immediately in the next encounter, obviously I had healed a bit from the villages in between, but in the next encounter, I lost, like, half my HP again, half my max HP. So at this point, I'm only sitting at around like 10 to 20% due to the healing and the potions and everything. And then the third combat of that loop killed me. Like, completely fine, no problems, until loop 288. 3 combats back to back just like completely shredded me. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. But that's how it went down. Regardless of what the deal actually was. Still fine, like you saw that I decided to use my skulls to keep all of the resources, since I did not ever get the supplies upgrade. And I probably wouldn't have taken supplies even if I did get it, because I got like a sizable amount of max HP. Is there no music in this area? Or is it just very quiet? Oh, it's just very quiet. It's all bass. Exclusively bass. Oh, and I can't even see how loud that is because... Oh, no. No, I can. But the game, like, mutes itself and completely pauses when you Alt-Tab in full screen. There you go. I guess that music is an appropriate volume, though these headphones don't, you know, pick up bass that well, so I can't really fucking hear anything, but I'm sure it sounds louder on stream than it does in my ears right now, since OBS is reporting it as such. Let's lower the sound effects a bit. Alright, what am I doing? I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna go over a few things that I found out during that, like, extreme deep dive into the sort of endless capabilities of both that meme build and also, like, loop hero balance, I guess. I said that magic, HP, defense, and counter were the only stats I cared about before I ended. I might as well start the timer, because I don't know when else I'm gonna start it. When I ended the stream last night, not true at all, basically. Counter had a fair argument for it, because it does, you know, stop you from fatiguing as quickly. But the biggest issue with the counter stat is, like, it really doesn't scale at all. Like, all forms of the counter stat are as modifiers, not as, like, the base stat of an item. Like, it's always a stat that's on addition to whatever the rest of the item is. The exception being, rings. No, just rings, yeah, just rings. I was gonna say rings and amulets, but no, just rings. Which the rogue doesn't even have, right? Am I going crazy? The rogue doesn't have rings. That would be an interesting thing to look into, though, because, like, the base stat of items always scales, like, considerably quicker than the rest of, like, the modifier stats, especially so if there aren't any modifiers on the item, and it's just that base stat. The reason I'm curious is because you can get, like, a gray tier, like, ring that is just counter. And I imagine, I mean, I doubt that it would ever get to the point where you could get 75%. Or, I don't know, maybe counter goes up to 100%. I doubt you could get that off of a single piece of equipment. But who knows? Maybe. Anyways, the point is, counter is really hard to get consistently, especially at, like, high values. And it's also not that much of an impact. Another thing I learned about fatigue, since I'm on the topic of fatigue is just bad. Like, I don't understand the balance behind it at all, but for whatever reason, the decrease in attack speed that you get from fatigue is based on your increase to attack speed, which means when you're at 0% added attack speed, or like just normal attack speed, no modifiers to it, when you're fatigued, you don't lose any attack speed. You're just normal. I don't know. It just seems like a weird thing. Like, it doesn't necessarily incentivize having no attack speed, because attack speed is still, like, a good stat. And even though, like, fatigue does decrease your attack speed, when you have boosted attack speed, you're still attacking faster than base attack speed. So it's not like, you know, it's not like you're doing worse by having, like, plus 2% attack speed. Like, it's not like having plus 2% attack speed is going to make it so that when you're fatigued, you're going to have, like, minus 200% attack speed or something. But it is still just, like, a weird way of balancing that stat. I just don't understand the fatigue stat, or stamina, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so that's that. Next thing I noticed, I don't know, I could talk about, like, the specific stats on enemies. I very quickly realized that, the ghouls that spawn during, ransacked villages when they're turning into council lands have 0 defense, because the lightning rods did not scale so well with them. But speaking of the lightning rods, like the storm temples, the storm temples actually were, like, completely fine. Like, I could have done with less storm temples, because only until, like, loop 288, like, I think maybe once, there was a quest monster that survived a hit of lightning. Skeleton, in particular, because well, I don't know, the vampire mages seem to die to the lightning pretty quickly, too. I don't think the tomes have any defense, but they also don't have that much max HP, so just, like, the regular base damage of the lightning seem to do just fine against them. Plus, like, the tomes are just killing themselves anyways. Same with the magic vampires, because they're, you know, constantly hitting you with magic, and you just reflect all of it anyways. Like, I do think the strat is probably, like, the best strat for endgame grinding. I haven't even talked about what my base looks like. It's just a flex. Like, there's no conceivable way that I'm ever going to fill out all of these supply slots. Like, it's just insanity. Like, I've got 206 equipment slots. So if I wanted to, I could go crazy, bonkers, nutty, and get some ridiculous stat increases, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, it's fine. It's whatever, right? It's whatever. I also, like, with the materials I currently have on me, could probably max out the rest of my base, just because that's, like, a slightly satisfying thing to look at, but at the cost of my fingers, because, like, I already, like, in that screenshot earlier, you could see that I took home, like, 5,000 of these books, and I've already, like, shredded my fingers by, spam clicking this to a ridiculous degree. But, like, when you get in the rhythm, I've been doing the 2-finger tapping. Like, it's pretty good, but also a huge waste of time and energy. So I think I'm done with Loop Hero, I guess is the end of what I'm saying here. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had more insight as to how I died, because I really just have no clue how I died. It just seemed like all of the sudden either things were doing, like, way more damage than normal, or I don't know. Maybe I just got really unlucky. I don't know. No clue. No friggin' clue. I did see, one of the... Wait, what is this? Why are you acting like I've never seen any of these? Is there something new you get for unlocking... Oh, no, it's just gonna do that forever? Oh, no, I didn't scroll. Wow. Why did it do this? Why this? I wonder. You know, I thought my game crashed when my computer fell asleep. because when I brought it back, the game screen was just like pure white. And I was like, ah, dude, don't fucking tell me. Don't tell me that I didn't die, but I just can't continue anyways because I can't open the game up again. But thankfully, after like, I don't know, I think I had to open another instance of the game, and then for whatever reason, that like woke up my original instance of the game and let me alt-tab into it. I don't know what was up with that. But, yeah, one of the last, I think it was literally the last, thing I unlocked as far as camp supplies was the Farmer's Scythe. Wait, no, not the Farmer's Scythe. That's just, oh no, it is the Farmer's Scythe. I just read the 5% chance to receive a ration. I was like, that's not it. No, 3% of damage becomes damage to all. That's the important part here. I think that that could also be a really fun strategy. But I just, you know, I'm not a Loop Hero streamer. That being said, I don't really know what else I'm gonna do today, but like that would be so fucking tedious to try and craft out 100% of damage becomes damage to all. I don't even want to think about that. Sounds miserable, especially because tools are like the largest subset of different supply items. Like, you look at the majority of these items and their tools. The largest amount compared to any of the other categories. I think the closest in contention is furniture, but tools still has it beat by quite a bit. So that seems like a miserable waste of time. Especially because I already dismantled the one I got to unlock it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I had more to talk about with Loop Hero, but it kind of all just, like, left my brain. Yeah. There you go. Loop Hero. Satisfied. Oh, no, I was going to talk about how useless magic HP was. Yeah, that's right. Talking about the stats and how good they are. Defense is not very good. Like, I guess with the amount of defense I had, like, looking at the enemy damage stat and, you know, comparing it to how much damage I was taking, the defense I had before dying, which was like, I don't know, it was on the screenshot, but it was like 500 or something. That was saving me like a few thousand damage per hit. But obviously, when the enemies are doing 30,000 damage, like that doesn't really mean much in terms of your survivability. So I don't know, the defense stat seems to become like more and more useless as enemy damage scales up. Same with max HP. Like, obviously max HP is your biggest barrier because like that's the easiest thing to replenish, and also like you're going to take damage no matter what. Like, yeah, 75 evasion is great and all, but first off, that's a given. You should always have 75% evasion, because, like, you should just always be playing as the rogue. And secondly, you're gonna get hit anyways. I don't know. I forget where that sentence was going. Like I said, I'm dumb. I've said that many times. I've said that many, many times. But I don't know, there's still some things that confuse me about Loop Hero. I'm gonna start a run just so I can show it. What are these? Why are these here? What are these? It's like a quiver slot and like a belt slot? I don't understand. Is it just to fill out space, or is there like plans to keep updating the game? I honestly have no idea. But I was really expecting at some point that those would be unlocked as, like, new equipment slots, but no, I don't know. Let's shit on the other stats. Obviously, you need max HP, and, like, if I cared about, like, you know, continuing to play the game, the majority of my supply would probably be replaced by cheese. Or, yeah, by cheese. Or wait, what's the one that increases it for supplies? Is that a furniture item? Yeah, there you go. I would probably fill up the majority of my supply with these. And also, like, some harvester scythes or whatever they're called, because that seems fun. But yeah, obviously you need as much max HP as you can get. The one counterpart to it, though, magic HP, kind of sucks. Like, magic HP, really bad, actually. It's pretty significant that you have at least 1 point of magic HP, because, like, the most crucial part about magic HP is the fact that damage does not bleed into regular HP. So if you have 1 magic HP and you take 8 billion damage, it's still only going to do 1 damage to you, because it destroys your magic shield first, and then if you get hit again for 8 billion damage, you're going to take that directly to your regular HP. There is one interesting thing I've considered, though. Like, doesn't the, it probably doesn't work this way, but I do know there was that one Necromancer perk that, like, gave you magic HP every time you summon a skeleton. Surely that doesn't give you the magic HP during the fight, right? Because then wouldn't you just be invincible? So it probably doesn't, but, yeah, that was one thing I thought of. I imagine it's just you start the fight with however much magic HP you have, and it never replenishes until you start another fight, is how I imagine that works. Yeah, magic HP kind of sucked, because, like, I mean, I just stopped paying attention to that stat once things were doing, like, 5,000 damage to me, because, like, even with item level, like, 300 amulets, the most magic HP I got was, like, around the 4,000 level, so I'm like, okay, that's not even blocking a full hit of damage. I mean, it is blocking 1 full hit of damage, but what I'm saying is, like, it can't survive more than just that 1 hit, which means that at that point, 4,000 magic HP is just as effective as 1 magic HP. So I don't know, there's some balance things that I think are kind of weird with Loop Hero, but also it's just, like, abundantly obvious that the game doesn't want you, or at least they didn't expect you to survive as long as, like, 200 plus loops. Like, just by the fact that, like, there's no hold down the button for decompose. Like, I'm pretty sure that they didn't look far enough ahead to think, oh, maybe people are going to have thousands of these resources. Probably never expected someone to fill out their entire base with shacks. But here I am. Shacks, mud huts, small houses, and houses. That's the way. Alright, but I think that's probably a good spot to end Loop Hero forever. Unless they, like, update it and add stuff to it. I'm not saying, like, I hate Loop Hero or anything. Like, I still think it's a great game. But, yeah, I don't know. I beat it. Like, there's nothing else to do in it. It's not an endlessly replayable kind of game. Like, you basically just have a set-in-stone strategy. Like, the only reason I kept playing it was because I thought that meme build was kind of funny and I wanted to see it work. But now that I've seen it work, it's like, all right, I literally have, like, nothing more I can do with this game. It would just be me doing the same shit over and over again. With the exception of getting 100% damage converted to damage to all, but that would just take, like, such a long, tedious grind to get to that point that it doesn't seem worth it. It doesn't seem worth it at all. But yeah, I straight up have no idea what I'm going to do for the rest of the stream. I thought about some things.